You also need some drafting paper, a ruler, and a dowel. This dowel is not going to work. This dowel is a little too big. This is a 3/4 inch dowel. We want it a little smaller. We actually, ideally, probably 5/8 inch would work. This is slightly lower than, less than a 1/2 inch, I believe. No, it's a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. So we're going to use this, the end of this. Mark the center of the graph paper like so, and then you want to do your crosshairs or your XY axis, and you can see. So what you do is you mark where the center is on the cup so you can see that center better, and then you take the cup in the light and find the center and center this crosshairs with the center of the cup like so. Once that's done, you trace around. You can take the ruler to see if you're accurate. That's 1 3/4 inches. It's not accurate. Okay, that's off a little bit. So anyway, that's the idea. You want to make sure it's on the mark, and then do your tracing. The other thing about the tracing is with the curve, you want to make sure your angle is the same all the way around, the angle of the pen. So I'm going to give it a try again. And so we're wanting to go on the inside, so I'll put an arrow in, and then on the outside on this side, so the arrow will be on the outside there. So that will tell in this particular instance. But let's check this side. That's about right. Yeah, that's, so this one's pretty close, and this one's on the inside of this and on the outside of this one. Another option is take a deli cup from the deli. You know, tell them have it. You know, just buy some stuff maybe, or anyway, get a deli cup from the deli and put your mark in there for the center, centered on, and that's an easier way to do it. That should work for these. Yep, it does. So just get one deli cup and clean it up, and if it's clear, you can use it. That's an easier way to do it. Next, you take your sour cream cup, and you do this with all 5 cups. Now you're only going to need 2 ends for the base, but it's a good idea to mark all corners. What you're doing is you're putting a little mark on each of the crosshairs, go all the way around and put a mark on every one, and that way if you miss it up on one or two of the holes, you can always use the other 2. And in this case it's 3 inches from the top to the bottom, so we want to go, actually first thing you do is draw a straight line up, and so you put your ruler under the lip and draw up, and you can go all the way around. It's a good idea to go all the way around the cup and do the 4 crosshairs. Instead, you only need 2 for the base, but in case you make a mistake, it's nice to have the 4th one, the 3rd and 4th ones available in case you make a mistake or 2. And after you get the crosshairs, the next thing, you just so you don't make a mistake, you want to, after you get that, you check the length is, in this case, 3 inches, so you make a mark at 1.5, which would be half of 3 inches. And you're just going to do 2 corners rather than all 4 crosshairs, because if you start making, you might get over, you might overdo it and not be thinking, oh man, and all of a sudden you got 4 holes and you only need 2. In fact, it destroys it if you have 4, so you have to plug it up again. But anyway, that's that part of it. Oh, I guess I could do the rest here. And then the next step, this is a 3/4 inch dowel. You want a snug fit. You want this dowel to fit right in there snug. But so the 3/4 is a little bit too big to get this going, but we're going to use it anyway because you can trace. So you find the center of the dowel and place it on the center of the cup, the dot, anyway, and then you go around, trace around like so. And it gets kind of tricky because you have to reposition. So anyway, so that's that. Now it's going to be too big. You know it's going to be too big, so what you do is you can freehand and see how that does for you. You freehand a little circle, tighter circle inside, so that when the dowel goes in, it has a snug fit. So in this case, it's going to have a snug fit. Now to get the so you go all the way around and do each. No, actually, you just do 2 sides. We're just going to do one for showing right now, and then. There's this block of wood I have that comes in handy. I hope you can see that. Anyway, then what you can do, now this is one that we've already filled in a little bit with, so it's going to be a little tougher, but you flatten it out and then you just take your hobby knife and go around, you know, and then you go light at first. Of course, you want to do this. You might want to do it on your knee. Take it, get real close and tight with it. But this is just an example to show you. So you do the one side on the base, and then you do another side on the base, and then you're done. Once you cut that inner circle, you don't want to do the outer circle. Cut the inner circle, then you test it with the dowel you have, the 3/4 inch dowel, and see if it fits snugly in there. And be careful with the knife. You want to go, you can even make little punches, and after you do little pinholes through all of it, then you start kind of connecting those pinholes. That's you have to experiment with that. That's probably the best way to do. That's one way I've done and find it works pretty well. It's tedious because you have to go pin prick here and all the way around, and you want to follow that line. You want to make sure that circle line is equidistant from that center spot there and go all the way around. And so you do on the base molds. Again, this one we're using because it's already, I've had part of it filled in, but you only want to do 2 on the base, and on the apex you want to do all 4. You go here, 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 and here. So in this case it's all 4 corners, and the apex gets real tricky, but just be patient and do the pin pricks, and then you'll see that it works pretty well. Okay, so I didn't have to use any kind of any sandpaper at all, which was a joy. I was able to carve. So get the sour cream cups and you can just carve it. It's so soft and subtle. Whatever. Anyway, and then you can test it and see how that goes in there, nice and snug. You want it to be nice and snug. Now when we get these in, like in this instance, you know, it can go that way, that's fine. But on the top part of the cups, with just to the bottom of the dowel holes, and you'll notice these go in really well. And so now let's look at the base. Now here's the thing. Here is there's a little lip, a ring around here on the bottom. That happened to be consistent with the edge, so that ring fits with the edge. Now with the dowels on the apex, you probably want to go through the top and push those in that way. So this is our tester dowel, and you can see it goes in and out pretty well. You want a snug fit like that. And let's do the other ones. And that's looking good. Again, you don't want to keep the dowel in there until we're ready to pour, because these are so soft, you know, you don't want it spreading out any more than you have to. So this one we checked, and you can check them all and see how they work. You want a nice snug fit. And again, on these base molds, we just have the two edges. On the apex is where we have 4. We have 4 holes on the apex. On the other 4, the base molds, we have just 2 holes that are adjacent to each other. And yeah, here's the other orgone we had. So you can see that it's going to just come right off of these sour cream and cottage cheese containers as well. And that one's pretty tight. They're all pretty good. So we're ready to go with the next step. Got the 4 base and the 1 apex, and now we cut the dowels to length.